Welcome to RVCast. In June of 2024, we held the inaugural RV convention. And today, we're excited to revisit an episode from that enormously successful event. Get ready for insights, tips, and inspiring stories from our special guests. And enjoy this informative episode as we dive into the world of RVing. Hello and welcome back to another segment of the RV Convention. I'm your host, Dave Stanley, coming to you from the cab of the Stanley Streamer. And this episode features Bryce and Nellie Jurgy, RV enthusiasts and new RV park owners. Bryce and Nellie are avid family adventure enthusiasts, and after RVing all 50 states themselves, they bought a property in Swan Valley, Idaho, where they are building the Park at Swan Valley, a destination RV park near the Grand Tetons in Yellowstone. Their hope is to build a resting place for anyone to experience some of the best that nature has to offer. Bryce and Nellie, it's such an honor to have you guys on this year's convention. Thank you for joining us.
You have the best podcast voice. I'm like, if you can just always introduce us, you make it sound so good and magical. Our life sounds so good.
Oh, you're so kind, Nellie. Well, thank you. Thank you. And yes, I would be honored to introduce you anywhere.
That should be our alarm when we wake up to. Yeah. We are doing that.
Yeah.
Start the day off with some inspiration. You guys kill me. Oh, that's great. Well, hey, tell us a little bit about who are the Jurgys? Brief history of what your RV journey has been and what got you into RVing. What type of an RV have you traveled in? And some of your favorite RV moments.
Take it away.
So
much.
We got into RVing almost accidentally. It was intentional, but we thought it would be very short term. So years ago, I was at a creative agency, loving life, and we were newly married. We were producing big time commercials. We did one with Cristiano Ronaldo. We were doing a lot of big stuff. And Nellie was at a law firm, loving that. Mm-hmm. We were just having a good time. And then she had a health scare that shifted our whole perspective. And I was away on a shoot. She went in for test results, and that sparked this whole, wait a minute, we don't know what the future holds. And it brought us back together and kind of recalibrated what we wanted to make of our lives. And so we started a YouTube channel shortly after that, within a few days.
He had begged me for like months, and I'm like, I want to keep my life personal. Like, nah, it's okay. And then after this, I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. She was like, I remember Nellie said like, okay, let's do a channel to commit to doing an adventure so that it commits us. So we do adventure every week. And then also it provides memories and that we could look back on, or we didn't know what was going to happen. We were waiting on test results to see if it was cancer. And thankfully it wasn't. Wow. But during that waiting period, it was anytime Nellie looked at me or I looked at her, we were quiet and she just started crying because we just didn't know. And so it's like, okay, wait, life happens to us, but it also happens for us. Let's make the most of this. And we had maybe 2 videos up by the time we found out it wasn't cancer for sure. And we're like, well, we're committed. So let's go with this. And so we started doing an adventure every week. It used to be just close adventures. We went to St. George a few times, Hurricane, Snow Canyon area, Zion National Park, all that. And then once we started throwing it out there to the world, just more opportunities presented themselves of, hey, do you guys want to adventure here? And how we got into the road aspect of it, we were on a road trip. Nellie planned, we took turns for Valentine's Day every other year. She planned our couple adventure. And as we're driving back, she was like, I want our channel to do more. Like people are watching it, but they're still sitting on their phones. And we saw this old green van. It looked like it was abandoned, but there was a for sale sign on it. 1979 Chevy Beauville. And
it was
like,
beautiful.
Yeah.
It had holes in it, but it was beautiful.
Yeah. New tires, but it was just like, what? As a joke, I'm like, did you want to buy that van and we'll adventure around and do adventures everywhere and like hide treasures to get people out? And Nellie just goes, yeah, I actually do want to do that. And so we looped back around, texted the number, didn't think anything would happen of it. And then a few days later, we bought it through Facebook, paid her through Facebook, and
talked her down. It was like 1,500 and we talked her down to 1,400.
Yeah, we felt really good about that. We were on a tight budget.
We were newlyweds.
Our friends actually picked it up. They took it to a car wash to surprise us because they lived in St. George. And when we came down to pick it up, it was soaking wet inside because there was holes all over and the car wash had flooded it. But it was awesome. We loved it.
It felt so good.
Yeah, we took the bench seats out, went camping that night, and it was just like, we're in. So we started renovating that and then got pregnant and realized this van was a lot older than we thought. A lot of problems. And so we looked into, well, what if we got an RV or a Sprinter van or a newer van? And
we'll do all 50 states in 6 months. We'll
that
go
was the
so
plan.
fast, and we'll do adventures and do a YouTube channel, and we'll hide treasures in all 50 states. And that was our goal.
We're like 3 days per state. 1 day to travel, 1 day to adventure, 1 day to relax, and then we book it. And
wow.
We got to state 15 or so quickly. Like we were kind of on schedule, and we realized, wait a minute, we're missing the whole point of this. Like we're producing a show on YouTube, all these mini series, but we ourselves are ghosts. We're drained.
Well, let me explain this. We're first-time parents. We literally left when our daughter was 3 months old.
We bought it when she was 2 months old. Yeah.
Wow.
We bought it. Oh, so we bought an RV, a Class A RV.
Yeah, Class A. Renovated in a month. Took her baby, and we're business partners. We're like new-time parents, business partners. We have a newborn. I didn't know this at the time, but I was going through like severe postpartum depression, and so it was so crazy. And we're like, this is not working. This whole busting our butts and like not sleeping, and anyway, it just was a lot.
Yeah. And we were getting DMs on social media of like, hey, we'd love to see you when you come through here. And we got one email, very sweet person who's dear to our hearts, that she was like, I came across your channel. I'm dealing with cancer actually, and that's how I found your channel. And hi, sweetie. This is our Indy girl.
Well, hello.
Do you want to say hi, Indy? And she was like, I'd love to meet you when you come through Chicago. And we left Chicago 2 days ago, but our content was backdated, right? And so we decided to slow down. And so 6 months in, it was a 2004, one of those years, Damon Daybreak, Class A RV, is 34 feet. It only had 9,000 miles on it at the time. Yeah, it was well cared for. The decals were still in good condition because they kept it covered. And our 6 month trip turned into 2 years. And
the first half.
And then we decided, you know what, this is actually really fun. Like with our content, it's funny because we don't emphasize too much about the RV lifestyle. It's all about the adventures. Because we're like, we're going to sell the RV after 6 months and then go back to the normal way of life. But we're like, this is actually really cool. We get to choose our weather. When we balanced out, when we were rushing, it was stressful and a lot of work. But yeah, then we were full-time for 4 years, and that's what got us into it. When we finished, so then we were pregnant with our second, and that's when
COVID hit.
Yeah, everything changed.
Wow.
And so there's a lot up in the air. So we decided, let's go be by the first hospital where Avi was born, our first daughter. So we rented a condo for
6 months or something.
I think we did a 12-year lease, but we didn't last that long. We did. And so she was born. And when she was a few months, we got antsy. This is the first time we've sat for so long. And then we got a fifth wheel and started touring the country again.
Yeah.
Wow, what an I had no idea. That's fantastic.
On your face. We're like, boom.
Wow. I mean, I love your beginnings, how you had a real potential tragedy on your hands. And rather than deciding to just sit and sulk about it, you decided to make the best of whatever you had and started adventuring. That's such an inspiration, you guys. Thanks for sharing your story. So you started the YouTube channel and you grew that to, do you know approximately how many followers you have?
Yeah, collectively. So on YouTube, we're around 260,000. With all of our platforms, we're like 350,000 right now of just online
And
friends, you know?
yeah, and is
Yeah.
that still an ongoing show that you're producing? And so you're now starting an RV park,
Yeah.
and so the show is transitioning from all of these on the road adventures to the RV park. And then do you still get out and do some adventures with your RV?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
We actually just went to St. George.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Went
For
back
those who don't know, Tracy and I, my wife and I, we are originally from St. George, Utah, near Zion National Park. And so we're kind of talking some inside knowledge amongst each other. But that's the connection that we have as well that we're talking about.
yeah,
So, well, fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
it did make us like we got a house by the RV park because the winters can be
brutal.
very wintry. And so we're like, well, we don't want to be in our RV for there if we can help it. And we want to be close to the campground. And we looked at multiple campgrounds. It started kind of like every other adventure we've done, just as a thought. And it was a what if moment. What if we did
sure.
this? And with our content, there still seem to be a lot of comments or messages where we're like, man, there are still people that don't ever go camping. And it's too scary and too intimidating for them. And it's literally like once you're out camping, yes, there's a lot of work involved, but it's one of the best things for kids with our kids because they can play with a stick for a long time and they love it. And then they're more balanced, you know, like there's other things you got to worry about. So we're just like, well, if we could create a place that it's like, hey, just show up and we'll help provide everything else we can to make it a great experience and hopefully create these trends for other families. It was a joke because we're like, there's no way we can afford an RV park.
But we have really annoying friends who are just really awesome, and they're always like, "But what if?
Yeah.
How do you make this happen?"
Yeah. One of our friends, he'll always be like, no, pretend it already is answered. It's possible. Now, how would you do it? And that's one of the best, but also most lethal perspectives. Because it opens up all opportunities. And so we're like, all right, let's pretend for a day that we own an RV park. How would we get it? Or pretend that we can.
And Bryce totally is like, anything's possible. And I'm over here with my like hair falling out because I'm so stressed. And he's like, no, we got this. And I'm like, what? How? But then we do it. We always do it. It's wild.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you guys have such a cool vibe, and it's so fun to even just chat with you. And I feel inspired just even having this interview. So the inspiration to start the RV park, that primarily came from the desire to give this RV adventure life to everybody in a less stressful way, to where those that are intimidated by RVing can have a place where, hey, you really don't need to do a whole lot, and we're a great resource for you if something goes along. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That's a big part of it. Another part is just we did all 50 states, right? We didn't take our RV
Yeah.
to Hawaii. People ask that, but we got to see lots of different campgrounds and
like hundreds of campgrounds.
Yeah, and we've learned a thing or two about marketing. There's still a lot we can learn and improve there, but it's like, okay, what would we do differently or what would we want? And it's different when you're on the ownership side. You're like, oh yeah, all those ideas we have cost way more than we thought. Turns out you can't just,
build this luxury resort.
and permits and regulations and that whole world. And so I love asking our guests now, by the way, what would you improve here? And some of the other days, like, you should pave all this, you should pave all the roads and all the sites. And I'm like, I had to hold back being like, that's like 2 million. So I'm like yeah, that's a great idea. But it's that was a big part, is to just the results. And it's one of the most fulfilling things when we're out at the campground and we see people just sitting around a campfire, or they're
like classical camping, like we don't have the golf course and the putts and the, stuff. It's just like mountains, nature, peaceful camping. Like it's just like the good old nostalgia camping.
mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic. As you're saying that story, it reminds me of the story of the Masters golf tournament where some professional golfer made a comment of, oh, it would be great if there was another tee box over here, or if you redesigned the hole this way. And they said, that's a great suggestion. And they did it. And then they sent him a bill for it. And he didn't know it, but that is standard procedures for the Masters golf course. If you submit a suggestion and they do it, then they send you a bill for it.
No way.
Wow. That's awesome.
I would love to be able to do that. I'm not going to lie. That would
So there you go.
What's your
paving? Yeah.
Credit card on file.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know what, though? It's been really neat that when we were on the road, you would meet incredible people on the road. As you know, you meet people that are living intentionally. Anyone that you see that's out traveling, they've made intentional decisions to shape this life that is more serving to their community, to their loved ones and themselves. And so I love those interactions. And now it's really cool that half the year when we're here at the campground, these types of people from all over come to us and we learn so much from them. And I've been blown away with how many people want to help. They can feel that vibe and the feeling that we're trying to create there. Like, we didn't experience this a lot when we were just before the campground, but the first night when guests get there, they're sitting around campfires with neighbors that they've never known. And we're like, what is it? But we're really trying to build this community feel. And that's one thing that I feel like we're not tapping into as well. There's a lot of people that want to help, and just figuring out what are the best ways to do that also give back to them. And so we're trying to balance that whole thing, because I now know why RV parks cram in the sites. So you're out your front door, you see your neighbor's septic hose, because the conversations we've had with banks for expanding, they're like, well, you should put in more because then you get more revenue. And it's like, yeah, but that's not why we're doing this. We're not doing it for that. We're doing it for the experiences that can happen. So
yeah,
I'm rambling, but I could go off on that.
I so appreciate that perspective. And also the concept that you're talking about, we don't have the putt-putt course or the golf course or the big water park that some of the other RV parks have, but you've got some of the most beautiful God's country landscape just right outside of, because you're right near Yellowstone, Grand Tetons.
Grand Tetons, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're in a good spot where one direction you go Jackson Hole, which feeds into the Tetons, the other direction Yellowstone. But then even within 15 minutes, there's a 22-mile, how many miles of coastline?
It's 70 miles of shoreline.
Shoreline reservoir. It's the start of the South Fork of the Snake River. It's blue ribbon fly fishing. There's a lot of people that they start in Montana and then they follow down through in July, because we get these types of flies that are like grasshoppers and just along the river there. And so the fish are jumping like crazy. So yeah, we're in a beautiful area. And right from our property, actually, you just look out and you see, it's called Mount Baldy. And today was blessed with a lot more snow.
Was it?
Even today, right? Oh,
yeah. It's not sticking on the ground, but up in the mountains, it's blanketing with more snow, it'll be beautiful for another couple weeks.
Just the grass green. It's
good.
It's good.
That too. But it is such a beautiful area. It's like the Disney effect at night, because the sunset's either going to be purple or gold or pink.
And then there's no light pollution. So
yeah,
the stars are just exactly what you want when you're camping.
Right. And that's why I was saying that I appreciate the perspective that you guys are taking, because it sounds like, hey, the park at Swan Valley is a place to go to enjoy camping, not to be distracted by other things that you could do in any city or any other place. This is a unique place that if you go there, this is what you're going to get, and you'll have a hard time finding exactly this at any other place. And I, for one, am excited, very excited to check out the park at Swan Valley. That'll be great. So tell me a little bit about the history of the land and, how did it first become known? Transferred ownership? How did you guys end up with it? And what are the hopes for the future?
God and annoying friends again. They always seem to be present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We literally started this process through realtor.com. We were looking, we're like, maybe we get a house home base somewhere. We loved Mississippi along the coast. They're like Biloxi, Mississippi. We
loved it.
Met some friends there on our road trip that were like, oh, that's great. And then this friend again was like, remember the RV park idea? And he sent us this listing for
a different RV
park,
same area.
And so I just filled out the form. I was like, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. Got a call the next day, and I had no idea what I was doing. We set up a meeting.
We were like in transient too. Like we didn't have a home. We didn't have the RV. Or we had it, but we weren't traveling in it. We were just like, what do we do?
Yeah. So Nellie was with our daughters with her parents, and I went to this campground, and I called this friend back. I'm like, what do I say when they ask me about financing stuff? And he's like, just, let them know that you're still looking at options. You don't know if you're going to go private route or lending route. I'm like, okay. So I said that, and then they looked at me like I was loaded, and I'm just like, just totally just putting up a face, but I learned about the process. We found a lender who pre-qualified us because it was a business. So for anyone that's ever thought, we've got a lot of messages from people, which I love. They're like, I've always wondered about owning an RV park. And to me, I just thought I had to have so much money set aside. We did not. And the conversations with some lenders, many were like, yeah, no. But there was a few that were like, well, you're acquiring a business and it's going to bring in its own money. So you don't need to have all this money, and helping me see that process. So long story short, we didn't get that property.
We did put an offer, and it was like heartbreaking when we didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But then Bryce was like, it's okay because I think like God has something better.
Oh yeah. I was devastated though for 2 days. I felt like I failed because so many things lined up to then put in the offer. And the seller loved us, and we had this connection with them. And then I delayed. I finally I got in contact with someone who was going to short-term loan it for us. And I wanted to check with all these people before. And then when we called her, she's like, I literally just signed an all cash offer 45 minutes ago. And so and she wanted to go with us, and she was actually going to sell it for less to us. But then these guys came in with a full cash
and
no contingencies offer. And so it was like, wow, that was a 3-month process that I just botched. And yeah, I was devastated. But then, a couple of days later, I was like, you know what? I think that was supposed to happen so that when the real opportunity presents itself, we don't sit on it. And so I don't know how much longer, not that long.
Our realtor called us, and there was another piece of property up for sale that wasn't on market yet. We didn't even know because it wasn't really run as an RV park. He just had
she went to work though and was putting feelers out everywhere. And so found out, she's like, this one's going to go into market soon.
And we didn't think there would be this opportunity again in Swan Valley, Idaho. We're like, who else is going to sell the RV park? Probably nobody. Like, this isn't going to happen. It was miraculous. Yeah.
So went out and looked at it. The history of it was, so in Swan Valley, there's a lot of grazing and farmland. It's just outside of Jackson Hole or Victor and Driggs, Idaho. And that area, Jackson Hole, how the locals say it, they're like, all the billionaires are coming in and kicking the millionaires out of Jackson Hole.
So all the millionaires are coming to Swan Valley.
Yeah. So now all these wonderful families, multi-generational families in Swan Valley, they're selling off parcels of their land to these big cabin summer homes. It's a beautiful area. Swan Valley is absolutely gorgeous in the summer, and in the winter, it's like winter wonderland. It's not the slushy gray, it's white winter wonderland. And so when we found out about this one, the couple that was selling it, they were in their 80s. He's a pilot, and he had multiple properties in the valley. He was selling this so it's a campground on one part of it, open grass area the other, and then an airstrip. And so he had an airplane hangar with his plane, his truck, his side-by-side, and then he had 10 RV spots that he rented out cash.
For nothing.
Yeah, for nothing, cash just monthly, and most of them were his friends or just people that he knew. And it was kind of one of those things that, he was very smart. He could use it as a write-off, but it also allowed him to have his own airport, his own airstrip for his plane. But then it was grazing land, so property taxes were very low. So it all worked to his advantage.
Did not work to ours at first.
Yeah, at first. It's funny. So we put in an offer, and we didn't do things kosher. We found that out. Like, we wanted a relationship with the seller because this was our family dream. We were investing in it. So there's a couple times we dropped by and we didn't work through our realtors. But long story short, we're now friends with them. So with the realtors, so that's great. But I remember we were sitting at their picnic table outside his RV, and I asked him, I'm like, so Randy, I have a lot of respect for you. What would you do if you were me? Young, dumb, lots of energy, and that's about it. And he's like, well, I wouldn't do an RV park. And we were under contract at this point. And so I'm like, I don't know what to say. And I look at him, he starts laughing. He's like, no, you should do an RV park. He's like, but I just didn't do much yet here because I knew that this valley will grow. He's like, you've seen Jackson Hole and how crazy packed and beautiful it is, but it's so packed. He's like, so just be aware of this is a lot of acreage in the middle of the valley. Be smart about how you become stewards with it. And he shared more ideas about that too, but it was like, oh yeah, so our perspective has changed to, we're stewards of this. What do we want to happen for people here? And we really do want it to be an amazing place for people to come have these family memories. Like this year, this is our third season with it. We had someone come back their third time in a row. And that's so fun.
And we just opened, so it's cool
yeah,
to see them.
And they're
always one of the first ones back too.
They are. They brought all their family last year. They threw a family reunion at the campground. And it's just like, it's so fulfilling to see that and to know that we're playing a small part in it. But yeah, back to Nelly's comment. I'm rambling, huh? Talking too much.
Well, it's all right. You're probably answering all the questions he was going to ask you without even him asking.
Yeah, I'm astounded. I can throw out 15 questions and you nail all of them without saying. Now, what was the fourth question? This is awesome. So, well, let me ask you this. So, north or central eastern Idaho, is that where we're kind of at?
Southeastern. Yeah.
Southeastern. Okay. So
we're
winter.
Like 40 minutes from Wyoming.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Are you open during the winter or is it a summer only camp?
Now we are. Just last year, we finished a cabin. So it was a neighboring property that went up for sale that had a 3-bedroom home. Now it's 4-bedroom.
Trying to turn it into 5.
We convinced the bank to add that to our debt, for us to take on that property so that we could have more family reunions. And so it's now 4-bedroom. We're adding another bedroom on it.
And a tiny home.
And so those are open year round. Starting this year, they're now open year round. And so we had a family express interest in renting it for all of December to get the Christmas winter wonderland feel. No one has yet. So if anyone wants it, it's open. But the current RV sites that he built, the water line is just around the freezing level. It's just below it enough that it's probably okay. But
we don't want to risk that. So we're going to put in winterized spots when we're finally able to expand.
Yeah, our new water lines are going to be 6 feet deep and totally great for winter. We can't afford if something busts with our current setup for the next season. That'd be a big hurt. So, but next year, after this new expansion, we'll have 15 to 16 more on our next phase, RV pads year round. In a perfect world, I want heated pads so it insulates the RV up, heats it. That'd be amazing. And then we'll have some more little cabins that will be year round as well.
Wow, fantastic. And you mentioned family reunions. I understand that you've got a family summer camp that you've got planned coming up. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's going to be wild.
The best. Basically, we want it to be like where it makes you change your profile photo. One of those events where like something great happens and it's an amazing moment. We want parents to be the coolest parents to their kids because they brought their kids, and we want couples to become closer together and people to make new friends. So it's 4 or 5 days of so much fun.
You know, summer camp, right? Like, did you go to summer camp as a kid?
Oh, heck yeah. Best memories ever.
And it's so nostalgic when you like revisit the place or whatever, you know, it's summer camp. And so that's why our theme is summer camp. So for parents, it's nostalgic, but for kids, you're creating that summer camp moment for them for a really amazing price for everything that you're getting, which we haven't announced, but it's literally going to be insane. We've been working our tissues off. We have really great sponsors. Mm-hmm. We're going to have adventures we're going to have a lake day in the Palos Verdes Reservoir. We're going to go to Jackson Hole, Grand Tetons. Mm-hmm. We have river rafting tickets separately that we got for a really good price. So if those who are coming all the way want to try that out, which they should, they get to do that.
Whitewater rafting. It's some good.
Oh, wow.
On Snake River. Like, you can't get much better than that.
Yeah. Last time we went, there was a bald eagle that just perched over and watched us, and I rode the bowl of the raft. If you don't know what that is, it's the very front of the river raft. And
right into the
it was rapids. Like at that part, what was that? Maybe a class 4 little spot. And I was like, I'm going to ride it through. And it totally just sent me back to the second row of the boat. It was peaceful though. It was weird. Like the water carried me peacefully back. But
that's great.
So many fun memories and adventures that you just got to show up. So we've now opened it up to tent campers too. But yeah, we have maybe, I don't know, just over 30 or so tickets left right now.
Okay.
But yeah, come with your rig, fit your family or your friends in it.
Or your tent.
We'll have showers and bathrooms on site. We're providing a lot of the meals for it. We're going to have
amazing swag bags. That we have such good sponsors for providing amazing products. The price of the swag bag is more than the price of the ticket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're getting these amazing travel bags that are, it's like the way the bag is made. It's so that when you're traveling with multiple people, it's compartmentalized. It's amazing. And then even like gas cards, because we're just like, we want people to commit to come out. So when they commit by purchasing a ticket, immediately we're giving them gas card credit. We're giving them swag bags when they show up. We just had some other really cool meetings this morning with other companies getting involved. Yeah, it's
going to be nuts. So you better come.
That is so cool.
At this point, I'm like, you got to be our MC with that voice. I'm like, you just got to get there. Okay?
Hey, I am sold. I'm excited to get up there and look forward to seeing anybody else in the audience that can attend. What are the dates for the family vacation here?
July 17th through the 21st.
Mm-hmm. And so if they come to our website, thepark@swanvalley.com, there's a banner at the top that they can click on that takes them to the summer camp event. So that, or either thepark@swanvalley.com/summer camp. And we show a lot of what's happening, but there's still some surprises that we have that we're just like, we're doing it the Jurgy way. It's not normal, but we take normal and make it more epic. So.
Wow. And anybody listening here, you can get the cool vibe that the Jurgys have. And so you got to know that showing up to this summer camp is going to be epic. And you mentioned memories of summer camp. I love that it's a family summer camp because as I think back on my summer camp adventures, they were free of parents. And so the memories are kind of like, hey, remember when Mark fell out of that tree and got a concussion? Or hey, this scar right here is from trying to jump off that cliff and landing in grass that looked like it was 5 feet tall and it was only 30 centimeters or so, whatever.
This is fun.
No, I'm of course making up these stories.
Show us the scar, David. We know you have it.
So that'll be great. Well, I'm excited to attend the summer camp. That'll be a lot of fun. And so please go. Yeah, go ahead.
There's sunrise yoga too that we're doing too for those who, we're balancing you out. So sorry, there's some more stuff coming.
Party and yoga,
You just sold my wife on it, so she is the yoga queen. So would love that. Sunrise.
I don't know if we'll make
just...
sunrise. It might be like a sun.
Well,
see.
we do have the advantage of a big mountain peak that blocks the sun until just after 7 a.m. So
Oh, perfect.
We'll get it around then.
Because I might be teaching the yoga, and I'm like,
oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Fantastic. So anybody listening, please check out the show notes for links to the website for the park at Swan Valley. And also, what are some of your social media links that people can follow your story?
Yeah, if they just search at the Jurgys, they'll find us on any of the platforms.
Jurgys, not Jerkies, okay? Jurgys.
Yeah, we have a good time on there. And we love, when you send us a message that you saw on here, and if there's any value you gained or questions you have, because it's awesome with the internet. You can connect with like-minded people and just so many friends. And now you can come hang out with us in person too, if you want. Yeah.
Or David.
Or come hang out with David.
There you go. Yeah. So as an added bonus, sign up for the summer camp and you'll see me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Long pause, right? Oh,
no, we're gonna put you on our ads now, if that's okay.
David's face.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Hey, I'm so excited for this. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining us on this year's convention and for sharing your passion about camping and your adventures of visiting all 50 states, and also the story of deciding to start the park at Swan Valley. Very inspirational, and I just love some of the concepts that you've presented. One of the things that stands out that I just need to mention for anybody listening out there, and that was the concept of when they thought that the property that they had under contract fell apart, that was it. It's not it. There's always something that's going to present itself with, and oftentimes much better. And so everybody, and this goes to even jumping into the RV life. Don't just say, oh, hey, I want to RV. Feel free to go ahead and do some planning, but also have the courage to make that leap. But don't leap at stupidity. Make sure that you've done at least a little bit of research so that you know what's going on, and follow the example of what the Jurgys are doing here. And you're going to come out blessed. You're going to come out with a great experience, and you're going to come out inspiring other people. So thanks again, you guys.
You don't think we leaped into stupidity, but
are you saying you keep believing that, Dave? You just go on, keep believing that.
You're talking to me on that one. Like, oh, okay, I need to hear that.
We definitely have had those moments, but
yeah, well, great. You guys are a huge inspiration. Thank you so much, and we wish you the best at the park at Swan Valley, and look forward to seeing you for the family summer camp. I'm really thrilled.
Thanks, David.
Hey, you bet. And stay tuned, everyone, for more insights, stories, and tips as we continue our convention lineup. And until then, hey, we'll see you on the road. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RVCast. We hope you enjoyed hearing about our latest adventures on the road.
And don't forget, if you're itching to explore unique and interesting RV destinations, be sure to download the CurbNTurf app.
That's right. CurbNTurf, it's your go-to for finding those hidden gems off the beaten path. And hey, if you own property and you want to share your slice of paradise with fellow travelers, why not become a host yourself?
Absolutely. Just head over to curbandturf.com/start hosting to get started, or reach out to us for more information.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss a future episode, so be sure to subscribe to RVCast so that you never miss a beat.
Until next time, happy trails and safe travels.
We'll see you on the road.